So, welcome to my little uh, gathering that we do on Dreams and Hard Facts, my YouTube group. And today I want to introduce Claire Shackelford. We go way back to our time in church together in Asheville, North Carolina. And Claire is now a counselor like me. And we have been we've communicated and stayed in touch, but this situation in North Carolina drew us kind of back together to communicate about what could we do, how could we help. And then as we sit here today recording, the next one's coming in to Florida. So our desire is to try to not just help folks that right now are pretty much not even online, but try to help the helpers, help the caregivers along. Claire, thanks for joining me today. I appreciate you coming along and tell me again, you're in Tennessee. Where are you in Tennessee again?
Yeah. Well, first of all, thank you for having me. It's just a pleasure. It's a pleasure to get to talk to you again and see you and hear your voice. We often just, are talking via text, and so it's nice to hear your voice, see your face. And
Yes.
anyway, I'm in Kingsport, Tennessee. So I'm a little farther inland, and that's near Bristol. So everyone knows where the Bristol Motor Speedway is, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And so not too far from Johnson City as well. I would say I'm probably about 30 miles away, maybe 25, 30 miles away from the worst of the damage that was done in the hurricane that came inland. We
Yes.
did lose the bridges. The I-26 took many years to build, that connected Asheville, or connected Western North Carolina to East Tennessee. And it's funny, that road was finished the day after Brian and I got married. So the whole time we
Oh,
were
okay.
recording, he lived here in East Tennessee. I lived in West North Carolina. The whole time we were recording, we were having to drive that really windy road.
Uh,
And the day after we got married, that road opened. All those bridges on East Tennessee side are gone. They were washed
oh
away.
gosh.
Yeah.
And see, I didn't even know that I-26 had been finished to where you are. I just thought it stopped, in Asheville, and I didn't even know it went past Mars Hill and Burnsville and on out that
Yeah.
way. So my goodness.
Yeah,
Now,
they had finished it finally. East Tennessee side had been done for quite a while. There was some issues with the DOT and Western and North Carolina, and that had gotten straightened out, and they had made a rush to finish those roads. They did a great job on them. It was beautiful, and it was just a straight drive. Sadly, it was the bridges in East Tennessee that were, because there were a lot of bridges that
oh
near
yeah.
the Nolichucky. I think that's the right river that I'm thinking of, that swelled and just swept the bridges away. So there's no, right now, if we want to get over there, I think it's 77, because there's some washing
Yeah.
out of the bridges in 40 as well. So,
Wow.
yeah.
So, in our texting exchanges to get ready for this, I had shared in my community that follows my group here knows my some of my story in working with the tornado outbreak of 2011, which was kind of my thing. Kind of bring to the table what your experiences have been in terms of dealing with this kind of situation.
Okay. I have a real eclectic background, to say the least. Um, I think I started off in crisis pregnancy ministry, was doing that when you and I knew each other. I've worked with, crisis pregnancy ministry, post-abortion ministry, counseling, worked with, when I was a BSW major, I actually began working with violent and assaultive children in Western North Carolina and in Madison County, which was one of the counties that was almost completely destroyed.
Yeah.
This has been really hard on me, emotionally, actually, seeing the pictures coming in to that county. I was given an assignment as a BSW student to build community collaboratives in Madison, Mitchell, and Yancey counties, between the
Okay.
churches, the schools, the mental health system, the court system, and the families that had children who were suffering with very severe mental health issues. And because you can imagine that in a lot of these counties where we have the poorest of the poor, And the Appalachian culture, mental health systems often do not blend in well. It's like oil and water. So my
Yeah.
goal was to demystify mental health and try to get all of this built up. So I spent several years working on that project and being a community collaborative builder. And now when I look at the pictures, I just feel like, the people I loved come to love very much, which were my clients, the churches, the volunteer fire departments, all of that just washed away.
Yeah.
So that was very difficult. And so I worked with these children, worked with children later on that had brain tumors. Mostly worked in that, doing fundraising, building programs, but also worked with the children themselves. Uh, that job actually lent me into Washington, D.C. on the day of the terror attacks. So I got to be present for 9/11/01, right there at this, almost at the steps of the Capitol building. We were getting ready to announce that we were building a big collaborative to gain some kind of power that we could ask for more funding for children's brain tumor research. Um, and of course, once we knew that the plane hit the Pentagon, we knew that we were in danger. And we
Yeah.
were, actually. We were told that the plane that went down in the field in Pennsylvania was meant to come and hit the Capitol building or the White House. We weren't sure. That whole day changed my whole perception about PTSD. I think it was probably the closest I'd ever come to experiencing that type of trauma where
Yeah.
you feel like you're in imminent danger of being killed. I
Right.
mean, I
Yeah.
literally, they sent us up to our room, and when I opened my curtain, there were snipers on the roof, and I just thought, are these good guys? Are they bad guys? Are we, I really was very confused, and it took me a long time to put all those pictures together and understand my story. Um, and then I've dealt with since then lots of different types of trauma and grief. So people who
Yeah.
have lost their parents, their children, people who've dealt with crime, people who've gone through divorces. So I hate to say it this way, but kind of your garden variety of, I mean, I'm in the process of writing a book, and I just call it the inescapable grief because the
Good.
inescapable affliction, because grief is that we all face
Yes.
it. But
Good. Good.
some get the bigger one.
Oh yeah. That's great. I can't wait. I always said if I can write a book or two, anybody, I can't wait to, when you get to get your book finished. So caregivers, I think sometimes everybody can get overwhelmed, just as you were describing, you're looking out the window in DC that day. So if we could boil down, early stage shock, we're 12 days, I think, 12 or 13 days, depending on when you want to start counting from when this thing dumped on Western North Carolina, East Tennessee, et cetera. What comes to your mind in your experience uh, as to what would be one or two things that we could encourage? These are family, people wanting to get up there, ministers that are up there that maybe now have internet, counselor, anybody that's in the caregiver role. What are some things we could say that they could put in their toolkit right now that might be helpful?
So for them to help the people that they're helping, okay.
Yes,
Um,
helpers.
yes, I think that first of all, they need to I think that, as funny as it sounds, and this may sound really basic, but I think them helping the people that they're with find some kind of a routine, as bizarre as that sounds. I mean, just one little thing that happens every day, whether it's waking up and having coffee, or waking up and having a prayer time with them, or, if it's a pastor, say,
Yeah.
even if it's the workers. And I think that the Franklin Graham ministry, the Samaritan's Purse, I think this is something they do when they get there. They do establish some kind of a community again. It's really important. This is one of the first things that's destroyed when everybody has a massive destruction like that. Their community is ripped out from underneath them. Community is not just buildings, and it's not just, things. Community is people. And we
Yes.
were born
Yes.
into community. We're born
Yes.
to be with one another. And when people are pulled away from us and we don't know where they are, we've lost people, we're terrified, we don't have our resources like our cars and our roads to drive around and find them. We're terrified and we feel like we're just floating and we don't know. I mean, we don't have routine, we don't have anything. So that first little bit of routine, if you can get people together, even if you're in maybe a makeshift tent, makeshift shelter, help people to find some kind of a small routine. Just
Yes.
that morning
Excellent.
breakfast, a song, I don't know,
That's
anything.
great.
Yeah.
Um, I had a pastor friend from uh, Foley, Alabama, bring his operation up to the area where the tornadoes hit.
Mm.
And they collaborated with a local church and set up a feeding operation. And that's Frank's ministry has been forever, is cooking for the Lord. What I did, and this is the difference in a tornado and a hurricane, is that I'm down the mountain, a few miles away and there's no destruction, and then drive in to where it is. Whereas in a hurricane, you just can't leave. And even the people from Florida and South Alabama are going, this is weird. We can go get a hamburger down the hill, but up here in this little town. So they were really like going through some stuff. But the thing that I did is I went to when they were serving a meal from like 11 to 1, I went and just blended in and just it was just I just floated kind of around in the tables, and it meshed with what you said because there was a routine that I blended in because a lot of those people came there every day to eat for weeks, and they would see me and they'd say, hey Alan, glad you're here again. And I would just engage them, just
Yeah.
here and now. But I think that is so powerful what you're talking about, that getting the routine, and it enhanced the community, because I'll see those people. I'll go down there and maybe referee a football game now after this has been, that was in 2011, 13 years. And the people will see me and they'll just smile, even though I'm the zebra and they might not like me. And the eye contact is, I remember when you were at First Baptist Church and, helping us, with that. So,
Yes.
that is good. Is there a second one that pops into your mind or you're thinking of that may be beyond routine that might be helpful?
Let me see. I am looking. I was writing out some notes. Let's see. I was thinking too, journaling for the people who've been through this.
Okay.
I know a lot of people don't like to write anymore. The older I get, the worse my handwriting is, so it doesn't really do anyone else any good. But honestly, when you've been through a trauma like this, it takes a long time for the pieces to come together. When I was talking about DC, I didn't really talk at great length to anybody about it for a long time because it was jumbled in my head. And
Yeah.
I think that shock is actually a blessing from God. I think if we could take it all in at once and process it all at once, we would probably have a massive heart attack and just fall over. I mean, you've heard
Yeah.
of that. I've heard it
Yes.
it's rare. But sometimes people do fall over dead when they get horrible, horrible, horrific news or they witness something horrific. So I think that shock is a blessing. I think that we get this horrific news into our mind, but we don't process it. We process it bit by bit. We process it picture by picture, and it takes a long time. And so I always encourage people, go ahead and write it out, or if you have to, record it by your voice or record a video of it, go ahead and do that. It's okay. It's okay if it's just a little smidgering. Just say, I remember seeing this tree go through my house, and just leave it at
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
It's okay. I remember saying things like, I remember seeing a fire truck hitting cars and driving on a sidewalk. That's bizarre. And then, yeah, writing that out. I mean, I didn't say it, but I wrote it out. But I could have, or I remember seeing all these guys with guns on the roof. What in the world? Because
Yeah.
I would
Really.
remember that in my head and I'd think, did I really see that? And then
Mhm.
after a while, it took about 10 years, honestly, before I wrote it out because I just kept thinking, this can't, this doesn't make sense in my head. But after a while, then I finally sat down and wrote it out and I thought, it does make sense. Those men, I mean, I'm in DC. There's all kinds of elected officials around. Of course, there were snipers on the roof. They were there to protect us. They weren't there to hurt us. And they did. They protected us. Nothing else happened that day. Um, and yeah, that fire truck was doing anything he could to get where he needed to be. I mean, DC's traffic, as you know,
Wow.
he had to get on the sidewalk. He had to, and he was beeping his horn. He didn't hurt anybody, but DC's crazy. It's crazy on a good day. Yeah, you'd be there during terrorism. It's super crazy. So I would encourage them to have people journal and tell them if you can give them a pad of paper and a pen, they might just take you up on it. If they don't have that and they don't have their phone, try to find something that they can begin to process this with, or another person even, maybe someone they live next door to. The two of them can start talking about it, but they need to and let them know it's normal. It's okay. They don't have to have the whole story. Just start talking about it a little bit and tell them you're not crazy if you only remember these little tiny pictures. That's normal.
Yeah. Okay. So we're going to end this segment and
Okay.
come back for another part. We'll call it part two, I guess. So thanks so much for this info, and we're going to take our break. This is the end of the segment, basically, and then we'll be back for the next one. And if you're interested in this, I hope you'll rejoin us in this link that will be posted. And thanks a lot, and we'll be back again.